video, I'm testing 5 appliances that make hot chocolate, from the least to the most expensive, comparing their different features, how long they take to blend, and seeing which provides the best value for money. And stick around for my buying tips at the end, which will help ensure that you make a good purchase, whichever model you choose. If you're new here, I'm Clara and I make videos which help you choose and use your home appliances. If you'd like to see more of that, please hit the subscribe button. So we start with a budget model, the Simple Taste 4-in-1. It has a capacity of 240ml for milk and 115ml for frothing, and 4 functions that you move between by pressing the button on the jug. As well as hot chocolate, you can use it as a frother to create warm, dense foam, cold foam, and warm, airy foam. The whisk is magnetic and attaches to a pin on the base of the jug. You also get a spare one in the box. It has electrical connection on the base, which means you have to wash it carefully by hand under the tap or using a cloth. I tested all 5 of the appliances in this video by making a hot chocolate with 200ml of milk. All of the models produced great tasting hot chocolate and were incredibly quiet when they were running. This model was the second fastest of all 5, but the temperature of the drink was the coolest when it finished blending. If you're curious about the different hot chocolate mixes that we tried out while we were testing these appliances, we do have a couple of recommendations, and those details are in the description below. Next, it's the Rafow 5-in-1. There are 2 versions of this frother, one which is an integrated design and this one which is a split cup. I bought the split cup version because it doesn't have an electrical connection on the bottom and therefore can be washed up in the dishwasher or in the sink. Everyone in the family really liked the design of this one. The jug is a good capacity, the handle made it easy to pour, and you could actually drink straight from it if you wanted. Like the Simple Taste, it has a removable magnetic frother which attaches to a pin on the bottom of the jug. It has 5 functions, which are hot dense foam, hot airy foam, warm chocolate milk, warm milk, and cold thin foam. And when you've selected the option that you want, you press start. The Rafow has a bigger capacity than the Simple Taste, 350ml for drinks and 150ml for frothed milk. I tested it using 200ml of hot chocolate. It was the slowest of all the models, but the finished milk was the second hottest. However, the Rafow can actually heat and mix nearly twice the volume that I did in the first test. So I did a second batch of hot chocolate and filled it to the maximum. This time it took nearly 2 minutes more, a total of 5 minutes and 43 seconds to blend and heat, although it did produce enough to fill 2 small mugs. The manufacturers of this model say that it's BPA free, but that can sometimes mean a similar chemical has been used in its place, and that may not always be safer. Hot chocolate maker number 3 is the Lavazza A Modo Mio. This frother is quite a simple design. It's just got 3 settings: hot milk, hot foam, and cold foam. It's the smallest capacity of the 5 I tested, with a maximum of 120ml for foam and 180ml for milk, which is barely enough to fill a mug. The inside of the frother is flat, which makes it easier to clean, and the whisk has a handle on it which allows you to remove it easily when you finish blending. This model is mid-range price-wise and also turned out to be middle of the road in the hot chocolate test. Even though I used 20ml less milk in it than the other 4, it came 4th on temperature and 3rd on speed. Like the Simple Taste, it has an electrical connection on the base, which means you have to wash it carefully by hand. Now, before we head on to the next hot chocolate maker, I just want to take a quick moment to thank my channel members whose names are appearing on the screen right now. If you want to find out more about becoming a member of this channel, details of that are in the description below. Next, it was a step up to the premium priced models. We'll start with the Dreo All-in-One. This was the most sophisticated of all the appliances I tested, with a food grade all stainless steel jug and an LED display with a huge variety of options. On the left hand side of the control panel, there are 5 foam options. 3 are micro foams, thin, medium or thick, and 2 are thick foams, either hot or cold. And there's also a choice of 6 different milk types: whole, semi-skimmed, almond, coconut, soy and oat milk. I did try out a latte foam with barista oat milk and got good results. On the right of the control panel are the milk choices, options for high or low whisking speed and a range of different temperatures. It comes with two magnetic whisks which attach to a central pin inside the jug and a holder for them. It also has the biggest capacity, 450ml for liquids and 250ml for foam. For my hot chocolate test, I set the temperature to 70 Celsius and set the speed to high, which is what the instructions suggest for hot chocolate powder. It was the second slowest to blend, but produced the hottest milk, bypassing the 70 Celsius that I'd set it for and reaching a temperature of 73 degrees. Like the Rafow, the jug is separate from the base and has no electrical connection point, which means you can wash it in the sink or the dishwasher. The downside is being all stainless steel. It does get hot, so you have to be careful how you handle it. And finally, what might well be the star, or at least the celebrity of this video, the most expensive and most well-known hot chocolate maker, Hotel Chocolat's newly redesigned Velvetiser. The original launched in 2018, and this new one has been around for a couple of months. It's got a new design and also has the ability to make cold chocolate milk. The inside of the jug has a flat base and is ribbed, which helps to mix the hot chocolate, and it has a very elaborate S-shaped magnetic whisk with a handle. The maximum fill point is marked by a line on the whisk, and there's an electrical connection on the base, which means you have to be careful how you wash it. This new model is available in three colours: chalk, pebble and pewter, and it comes complete with a glass for cold drinks and a cup for hot drinks. Both are dishwasher, microwave and freezer safe. Inside the box you also get a starter box of 10 sachets of hot and cold drinking chocolate. The Velvetiser has a capacity of 220ml and is very simple to operate. Turn the dial on the base to the left and press for cold chocolate, and turn it right and press for hot chocolate. Hotel Chocolat have specifically made this hot chocolate maker to go with their premium priced hot chocolate mixes. And it says in the small print that using hot chocolate mixes which have not been recommended by them or which don't have the equivalent quality or specification as products which have been recommended by them can potentially void your guarantee. But I think it's likely that in the real world people will sometimes substitute cheaper alternatives. So I tested it with both their own mixes and the same powder mix that I used in the other 4 appliances. The manual says the Velvetiser will heat to between 68 and 70 Celsius, and in my test it was the fastest of all 5 and reached a temperature of 70 degrees. So a quick summary. The first thing to note is that all hot chocolate makers quote a capacity figure for the jug, but you'll find that the maximum amount of milk that you can heat in them is actually much less, because you have to allow space for the liquid to spin or expand. The Dreo, for instance, says it has an 800ml jug, but you can actually only heat 450ml of milk. So make sure that you read the description to see the true capacity of any hot chocolate maker that you're thinking of buying. The models I tested without the electrical connection on the bottom are much easier to clean, but this design is also less efficient at using power, so they take longer to heat and blend. It's actually still slightly quicker to do 2 cups in separate batches in the Velvetiser than it is to do one bigger batch in the Rafow. However, by the time you factor in the fact that the Velvetiser has to be washed by hand, the entire process for the 2 models is going to take a very similar length of time. So for me, it's a no to the simple taste and the Lavazza. I actually think the Lavazza is very overpriced for its small capacity and simple functions. The Dreo is amazing, but it's got way too many functions for what I need. It's really for an obsessive coffee lover, and it happens to do hot chocolate as an extra to all of the other coffee foams that it does. Which leaves the Velvetiser or the Rafow. Now, if you have the money to spend on a premium option, the Velvetiser is beautifully made and a lovely treat. It's also the only one out of all the models I tested that could properly blend the Hotel Chocolat flakes. Although, if you only want to use chocolate powders, the Rafow is a third of the price if you don't mind waiting a little bit longer for it to heat and blend. Links to all the hot chocolate makers are below, as well as our suggestions of hot chocolate mixes. Or you can scan the QR code on the screen. And if there's any extra info after this video goes live, I'll also add that below in the description.